morning and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants event. My name is Joe Grabowski, and I'll be your host for today. We are so close to Christmas holidays. We are so close to the end of 2022. And the last few days, we've been kind of wrapping things up with a few events, and it's really had a strong African theme. Yesterday, we were in Botswana. Today, we'll be in Kenya. And then tomorrow, we're going to wrap up with our final event of 2022. We'll be in South Africa, visiting a South African Penguin Rehabilitation Center, SANCOB. So that should be a really fun way to end the school year. So we hope that all the classrooms out there can make it with us tomorrow morning at the same time, 9 a.m. Eastern. So we always have a theme going on in December of big cats. So for the last several years, we have been talking to scientists and researchers and conservationists and filmmakers around the world who share their stories of filming and protecting and studying big cats. Because we, as many of us probably do know, big cats are in trouble around the world. And lucky for us, we have great people like Toby Otieno who are working so hard to help protect them. So Toby was born and raised in Western Kenya. Over the years, he's gained vast research and field experience ranging from small mammals to large mammals. He started as a volunteer at the National Museums of Kenya. And then in 2016, he joined Ewaso Lions as the research manager, where he took the lead role in monitoring all activities and research program management. And currently, he is the director of impact and operations. So let's bring Toby in live with us right now. Hey, Toby, how you doing today?
I'm good, Joe. Thanks.
Good. Toby, it's so awesome to have you with us today. This is your first classroom event with us, and we're really excited to have you.
I'm so honored to be part of this event, man. I'm so honored.
Excellent. Well, Toby, we have a great group of classrooms joining us in Canada, joining us in the United States. Right. And after you share for a little bit, they're going to take over and ask you a whole bunch of questions.
They're more than welcome to ask their question, and I'll be more than happy to ask. All right. To answer I can.
Excellent. Well, Toby, let's get you to take us into the world of Ewaso Lions and the great work that's being done in Kenya.
Oh, great. Okay. 1 second. So I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can see this presentation I have.
Yeah, I see it back there. I think we just need to hit start slideshow, and then I think it'll be ready for us.
I see. Can you see it from your side, Joe?
I do. Yeah, I see. We're just behind the scenes, and then if you hit start slideshow, I think it'll go full screen for us.
Oh, great.
Perfect.
So good evening, everyone, or good morning, everyone, depending on which part of the world you are. We are in Kenya. It's about 4 p.m. in the evening, and I'm so glad to actually give this talk to you guys, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. So what I'm going to do is just to walk you through what we do as Ewaso Lions. Ewaso Lions is a conservation project. It's a conservation project in northern Kenya, a small NGO that started about 15 years ago. And where we are, probably some of you know where Kenya is. This is the map of Kenya in relationship to where we work. You see the red arrow, where the red arrow is, that's where our project is. That's where we are based at. It's in Samburu, a county in Kenya called Samburu, and almost centrally placed within Kenya. We call ourselves Ewaso Lions, and the name Ewaso Lions comes from this magnificent river you see. This is a river that serves the landscape where we work. This is a river which is the only major source of water within this landscape where we work. So the name Ewaso Lions come from this river called Ewaso River. So we named the organization, we named the project Ewaso Lions, based from the name of this river, which is like the lifeline of this landscape. The landscape where we are is very huge. It's very huge. It's about 4,000 square kilometers. I don't know how much that translates to that translates to acres, or how much that translates to, what's the US measurement system mostly is in miles. I don't know how that translates to miles per square kilometer, but this is the landscape where we are. And where we work, we do our land conservation. Basically, it's unfenced area. It's this huge landscape where there's no fences. It's this huge landscape where people, lions, and livestock actually share the same landscape with no fences, not much of development in terms of roads and houses. So this picture shows where we are. And just to tell you guys a little bit about the lions, why lions? Do you guys know how many lions we have in the whole world? I mean, in Africa, we have about 20,000 lions. And of these 20,000 lions, only about 2,500, based on the recent number counting we did, we only about 2,500 lions in Kenya. And out of these 2,500 lions, about 50 of them are in places where we work. Lions face a number of threats. Lions face a number of problems and challenges. And one of them, from the start, when this program started, one of the major problem was places where lions in, people are coming, more and more people are actually occupying where lions are. And the other thing, the other fact also within Kenya, we have protected areas like the national reserves and the national parks, which are protected by the government. These national parks or protected areas are basically areas set aside by the government specifically for wildlife, be it lions and all other wildlife in it. But in Kenya, the other fact is 70%, almost about 70% of all wildlife are outside these protected areas. So that means majority of wildlife, including lions, hyenas, and any other wildlife we have in Kenya, are actually living with people, are actually living outside protected areas. Outside protected areas are lands in which there are people, there are livestock, and there are like all sorts of activities happening. Okay, so that has been like one of the challenges of lions facing, is that people coming into where they are, and now their homes are increasingly reducing every now and then. And where we are, like in Samburu landscape where we work, this is a typical picture. This is a typical picture where there are people, there are livestock, and lions and all the other life within the same area. And one of recently, there's been like lots of other new challenges. This land is continuously being degraded. This land is continuously like losing grass. You see, like for example, this particular picture, this is like a typical area how it looks like, especially during drought. There is no grass. And when there's no grass for livestock in the first place, and also there's no grass for animals like impalas, which are lions' food. So basically, it means when there is no grass, lions struggle to find their food, because their food struggle to find their food. You see, impalas eat grass, for example, but there is no grass. So impalas, for example, which is lion's food, will struggle to find food for themselves. When they struggle to find food for themselves, that means probably they're like all, die out, and that means lions will start to struggle to find their food. You know, and so this is what is one of the biggest challenges that is happening in northern Kenya where we work. Right? And when such things happen, remember, this landscape is a shared landscape between people, livestock like cows and goats and everything, lions and other wildlife. And so what happens, given that the lions are struggling to find their food, lion food is struggling to find their food, what happens most of the time is lions end up killing livestock. And when lions kill livestock, for example, in this picture, this is a picture which one of the lions killed a cow. And when such things happen, that's when lions get into trouble, because the owner of the livestock, they start getting angry and then start going after the lion. Why did this lion kill my cow? And remember, while we work, most people here are pastoralists. Does anyone of know what a pastoralist is? Pastoralism or pastoralism means moving with their livestock from one place to the other in search of a food for your livestock, which most of the time is grass, and also in search of water. So the most people in this particular area where we work are pastoralists. There are people who depend on their livestock. They depend on their livestock for food. They depend on their livestock for money. So and that is the key thing they do as a work. So when such things happens, when such thing happens in which like lion come and kill your cow, then people get very angry, It's like someone coming and breaking your bank, for example, where like you work and save everything, and the people in this area, they save in terms of livestock. So if you have so many livestock, that means like you have like it's an equivalent of having so much money. And livestock is very, very important to the people in this area. So when lions sometimes, because they're struggling to find impalas, come and kill livestock, that's when like the biggest challenge comes in. And what happens in such cases, people will actually, because they are angry, a lion has come and taken your livestock. And the livestock is something that you consider as your money, is like your bank, for example. So they get very angry and then go after the lion. And most of the time, in most cases, or when we started, one of the challenges was that a lion will come, kill your livestock, then you get very angry. Then what you do, you either pick up your spear or gun and then go after the lion. If you find the lion, you kill them. Okay? It's called retaliatory killing, basically going after the lions after the lion have killed your livestock. And so when Ewaso Lions started, when this project started, that was one of the biggest challenge we had. People will actually go after the lions after the lions kill their livestock. And so, one sec. And so, with this challenge, we started asking the question, what can we actually do to address this challenge? And so, what we ended up doing was studying this this program called Warrior Watch. In this particular community or this particular area, people are like still practice traditional ways of life. There's there's the elders, then there's the warriors like that group of teenagers when you grow up before you get old, and then there's the women, and also there are the children. So in this particular group, warriors are very, very important. Warriors are the protector of the community. Warriors, when livestock are out, when you're grazing your livestock out, warriors are supposed to protect their livestock from any form of interference, from any form, whether be it a hyena or lion coming and killing the livestock. They're supposed to protect the livestock together with the community. They're like the soldiers of a community. So what happened, we realized that this was a very, very important group of people within a community or within a society. And so the question was, how can we actually involve this group of people? How can we actually involve the warriors in lion conservation? And that is when we came up with the program called Warrior Watch Program. So Warrior Watch Program involves these very important group of people within the pastoralist community to help now protect the lion. So instead of warriors going after the lions when the lions have killed a livestock, the warriors now are there to protect, apart from protecting the livestock, but also protecting the lions. It has been such an amazing program, and this was the first program we started in lion conservation within this area. And what do they do? So the way they protect lions currently is, one, they go look for lions because they are very, very good in tracking lions. They can tell, like, just by walking, following, they can see a lion pose on the ground, and from that and just trying to follow it, they can actually tell, the warriors can tell how many lions are there, where they're heading, and where they are from. So one of the things they do is, first thing in the morning, they use these skills they have of tracking lions, find where the lions are, and after finding where the lions are, then they go back to the community. They go back to the persons adding the livestock, looking after the livestock, and tell them, hey, look, in a particular bush, there are lions, so please don't take your livestock there. And by doing that, we are actually doing two things. They're actually protecting the livestock from being killed by the lions, and also protecting the lions, conserving the lions from being killed by the people if by any chance they happen to kill the livestock. So that is one of the key ways our warriors protect the lions. You know, and as I told you, how do they know where the lions are first thing in the morning? They tell where the lions are. They find where the lions are, and then tell the community, so that the community does not take their cows or goats or sheep to where the lions are. Okay, and remember, a fun fact about lions: lions during the day they actually sleep, but during the day, during the night, they're actually actively walking around and looking for food. But during the day, especially when the sun starts to get hot, they just find a shade, go under shade, find a nice shade, go under, and then like sleep the whole day until like later in the evening. And so with that, that's an advantage. With that, it's easier to know where the lions are during the day because they won't move. Once around like 7 in the morning, they find like a place, tuck themselves in. They won't get out of that place until later in the evening, unless someone or something interrupts their beauty sleep. And so that is the key thing our warriors do, and also the key thing that our warriors do. In return, what we do is we track them. Like we have records of all the lions we monitor, all the 50 lions within this landscape, which we monitor. We know them, each and every single one of them by name. And how do we know? How do we do that? And by knowing them name, by knowing each lion individually, help us track them, know where they are, so that actually we can alert the community, alert the others, alert the people looking for livestock not to take their livestock where the lions are, that's saving the lions and the livestock. But how do we tell lions apart? We tell lions apart by the whisker spot. The whisker spot, like the ones the cats have. Every single lion has a unique whisker spot patterns, like the fingerprints. Every single human being, every single person in this has got like a very, very like me. My fingerprints are totally different from yours over there, from yours over there. And so the lions is the same thing. Their whisker spots is totally different from every single lion. And so what we do, we use that to identify each of them. So whenever like we find a new lion or a new lion is born, we try to do what you see on the screen now. We try to draw the patterns both on the left and on the right. The other thing also is you look at their ears and their face and the entire of their bodies. Are there any unique marks on that? And so we record each those marks, whisker spot patterns, any unique markings on the ears, both left and right, and any unique marking on the face and in the entire body. And so we keep records for every single lion for that, and we use this to tell the lions apart. All right. And so that is one of the things that our warriors also do, like monitoring the lion and knowing each and every single individual lions we monitor. And so I'm going to show you, to play for you guys this video. This is one of the people we work with. His name is Letupuka. Letupuka, when he started, he was a warrior, but right now he has graduated to the next level, to the next group of people in this community, which is a junior elder. So you start from, you're a young boy, then at some age, you become a warrior for about 10 to 15 years, then you graduate from being a warrior to a junior elder, then from a junior elder to senior elder, like later on. So Letupuka was one of the warriors that started this program. Right now he's an elder. That's why he's not like dressed in those beautiful regalia the warriors are. And so I'm going to play this video and just tell you guys how we try. How we track lions. So hii kama opposite kidogo, so hapa sasa nisijapata vizuri. So basically, we found like the tracks of the lions, and we are trying to figure out from the tracks, from the paws of the lions, and the paws of the footprints of the lions. We are trying to figure out how many lions were they and which direction they were heading, and probably most, depending on their behavior or where they're heading, we can actually tell which lions they are. So from here, we found there are like there were four sets of lions, and it's just showing that they were like from one direction heading to the other direction. And so sometimes what we do with this is by actually knowing they are, because we have um, what do you call, you have warriors in every single area, like in the entire landscape. So what we'll do is like one warrior, one person will figure out where the lands are and find out the heading to direction. What we do in this case is actually alert the other person uh, in the area where the lions are heading. So that other person will pick it up, try to figure out where the lambs are, trying to figure out where the lambs are going to sleep during the day, and then tell the community, tell the others, tell the people looking after the livestock to actually not take their livestock where these lambs are. So that was like a Pukwa demonstrating how like we use pose tracks, lion tracks to know where they are, and then again use that information to alert the community on the whereabouts of the lions, and thus saving the lions and saving the livestock, like two things in one go. Yes, so as I was explaining, one thing we know where the lions are, and this is exactly what they will do. We know where the lions are. For example, in this picture, those two young ladies are others. They're looking after the livestock in this community. Young girls also are involved in looking after the small livestock like the goats and the sheep. So these two young girls are the others, and they're looking after the cattle. And these two warriors are actually telling them, "Hey, please, that direction. Please don't take your livestock to that particular direction, because we figure out they're like lions in that particular. I mean, in bush like the other side." And so that is the main thing that the warriors do. One, find out where the lions are, and then two, go back and find where the others do, and warn them not to take their lands where not to take their livestock where the lions are. All right. Oh, another cool thing we do. So I told you like one key things warriors do is find where the lions are. Okay, and then alert the community where the lions are so that they don't take their livestock out. But you use two methods. One is tracking using the amazing skills these warriors have, our staff have in tracking the lions. But the other cool thing we do is use a GPS collar on lions. Find these lions, not all of them, but a few of them, put a collar on them, and these collars have a GPS unit on it. So we can track where the lions are. We can tell where the lions are. And if I can just show you guys, you guys do show, I can just show you on my phone. One take. We have an app. We have an app where we can actually, I don't know if you guys will see that. We have an app where we can actually tell where the lions are almost in real time. So the other cool thing is using technology to know where the lions are, and it serves the same purpose as tracking the lions. So once we know where the lions are, and we do this every single morning, we check where these lions have moved, and the GPS collars on them tell us where they are. And then again, we use that information to do the same thing, alert the community where the lions are. So this is one of the lions, like we call it, some time ago, and actually every single now and then, like we can tell where these particular lions are using like this technology, like GPS, like a collar on their neck with a battery pack on below and a GPS unit up here. So every single hour it records the GPS point where it is, and then those are sent via satellite. Then you can download it either on our phones or our laptops and know exactly where the lions are almost in real time. All right. Okay. Another program you have is Mama Simba. Mama Simba, Mama is a Swahili word meaning a mother. And then Simba is a Swahili word meaning lion. So Mama Simba Mama Simba translates to the mother of lions. So this is like another program we have within our project, Ewaso Lions, that involved women in lion conservation too. And so the story here was these women or these ladies. What happened was the Wasolan started. We had the Warrior Watch program, and they could see what the warriors were doing. They could see how Warrior Watch warriors within the Wasolans were like actually doing something very very important. And so what happened? This lady in the middle, her name is Munteli, the, and she is the coordinator of this program. So what happened? They kept on coming. They kept on coming to us. They kept on coming to our land. We also want to get involved in lion conservation. We need to be doing something like warriors. You can't just be working with the warriors, and yet we are also here. So they started pestering us, pestering to an extent. Then you said, then what do you ladies want to do with lion? In lion conservation. And so they came up with the name Mama Simba, and they came up with the program Mama Simba. And basically what you do with Mama Simba is, what Mama Simba does is one, again, through their daily activities like going to fetch water, going for firewood, and doing all of sometimes going to look after the livestock too, like the small livestock like goats and sheep. They get to gather like information, like in terms of where the lands are, where the lands of course like problems, maybe like kill a cow or a goat or something, and then they feed this information back to us, back to Warrior Watch. And then the warriors get like this information, then they can actually act, either respond by going there and then like trying to again protect the lions by preventing the livestock from coming where they are, or by, if conflict happens, what the other thing warriors do, if by bad luck a lion kills a livestock, the warrior have to go very quick to talk down with the livestock owners, okay, so that the livestock owners does not go after the lion and kill it. So that is the other thing the warriors do. That is the other key thing we do. If by any bad luck conflict happen, and by conflict I mean a lion kills a cow or a lion kills a goat, then our warriors have to respond very fast, go there and then like just try to keep peace, just trying to talk to the livestock, tell them, hey, as much as this has happened, it's so bad, but what can we do? Is like, just chill down, please don't go after after the lions, because we have very not so many lions in Kenya and the entire world. So as much as it's so painful to see a lion kill your livestock, please just please don't go kill it. So that is one of the other things our warriors do, and Mama Simba supports that. Mama Simba through gets the information, and if they get like any information about conflict has happened or where the lions are, then they can actually tell our warriors, so warriors can actually act on that. Okay. And it's led by these two amazing ladies, the one in the middle called Munteli, and the other one called Mpala. And remember, these are women, traditional women. These are women that most of them have never gone to school. All they know is like their tradition, but they're very passionate about what they do. They're very passionate about land conservation. They're very passionate about their culture. They're very passionate about like this landscape. And the other thing that our women do is restore back. Remember, like when I said about one of the challenges within this landscape is like it's so dry, not much grass, no much food for the livestock, no much food for the lion food, and that is a problem to the lions themselves. And so, one of the things that the women do, Mama Simba program do, is sometimes do such activities. These activities called digging semicircular bands on the ground, and these semicircular bands on the ground actually help. When it rains, they keep water, and when they keep water, after a few days, all the grass are like actually starts growing where the dug this. So one of the things is they do that. Working with the rest of the women, working with the community as a whole, bringing them together, then like having like a concerted effort in trying to restore back this landscape, in trying to bring back grass to this landscape, because they know that if there's plenty of grass here, there'll be enough food for livestock, and there'll also be enough food for lion food, and then lions will also have food at the end of it. right? And also one during the drought. You remember that picture? You remember that picture of the river where we got our name? Like it's the way it's like a lot full of water. That is during rainy season. But during drought, especially this year, the drought was like so bad. The river dries, and this is the image of the river. So one of the other things that women do is again coordinate, bring the community, bring women, bring more people, and so that they can dig up holes within the riverbed. And because this is, river is like full of sand, you dig like a few, more of like a meter or like a few feet down, the water will come out. And since animals can't dig except for the elephants, what one of the other things women do is like during drought, they dig up holes so that wildlife can still have access to at least some water. And so that is one of the amazing work the mamas do. Munteli is amazing lady. She started, she leads this project called Mama Simba. And remember, Munteli is a very, she comes from this community. She never went to school. And remember, majority of people in this landscape are like very, very pastoralist, very, very traditional. And most of the time, most of them doesn't have opportunity to go to school. And so seeing a woman or a lady drive a car is something that is, it's something that is just amazing. It's something that is never actually heard of. So Munteli here, because of her passion and a passion and about lions and everything, she was very adamant. I want to do more than, I just want to do more than everyone else. And so one way she came to us and said, like, one way that we are going to be able to help or do this work of land consumption is by me knowing how to drive so that I don't have to depend on others or on the warriors to actually drive. And so we took her, we took her to driving school, and right now she knows how to drive. This is a small like Jeep car, and soon actually we're getting her like a bigger car so that she can actually cover like a larger area. She's so amazing, and this is something that was never heard of within this landscape. Imagine people or other ladies and other men could travel from far just to come and see her drive. And to tell you guys of a recent story, so Kenya, we do also have governors, like we've split into counties, and the head of the counties are called governors. And we did elections last year, and right now we have a new governor within where we are. Guess what? This governor came all the way from like hundreds and hundreds of kilometers just to come and see this lady. You know, because people have heard a lot about Munteli. I've heard about like a passion about land conservation. I've heard about like her being the first woman from this community to be able to drive. You know, and so that is something that is very, very, very like just amazing. You know, okay, and again, we could not forget about the kids. We could not forget about the young generation, you know. And these faces here are like some of the kids we are from like this area. And these are adults. These group of kids you see here, some of them don't go to school. But the thing they know from like a very early stage is looking after their livestock, you know. So with that, and imagine, just imagine, you're coming from this beautiful landscape with beautiful animals like lions and all elephants and everything else, leopards, lions, cheetahs. But the only stories you know about lions and other carnivores is when these lions creep out from the bush and kill your livestock, come out from the bush and kill that precious thing, that one thing that is very, very precious to you and your family. Those are the only stories growing up these boys know. Those are the only stories growing up these girls know. But with the Lions Kids Camp as a program, we are trying to change that. We are trying to show these kids the other side of lions. We are trying to show these kids the other side of conservation. And how do we do that? We do that by holding a 5-day long camp, you know. And by camp, I mean is like bringing these kids from their homes, uh, putting them like in one place for 5 days, 5 nights. And some of the things we do during kids camp is actually talk about lions. Talk about lions. Actually, it's more like a learning process from both of them. Because remember, from like a very young age, they go out looking after their livestock. They're like very, very brave young boys. They go out, look after their livestock. Almost sometimes they come across, hyenas and everything, but they're very brave and they love it. And this is their life, you know. So one way we are trying to do is like actually show them the other positive side of the lions, bring them, and so we bring them in these camps and do lectures, do videos. We watch videos with them, show them videos, learn about it, do practicals like actually drawing the ground, ask questions. If you come a lion, what did you do? How will you tell it's a lion or it's not a leopard from the tracks, you know? And then the other thing we do is actually take these kids to the game park, to national reserves, because where we are, as much as majority of places where you are community land, we call them community conservancy over here, but we also have three national parks, three protected areas within where we are. These kids, because protected areas are not supposed to go in, and protected areas, like it's easier to see lions during the day, you know. So we take these kids, put them in that bus, call it LKC bus, and then take them out, and they get to see lions during the day. They get to see this magnificent, beautiful animal. And their faces, they're like usually so happy, because some of them, they never see like the lions this close. And so by taking them for game drives, they actually get to know, to learn about lions. They actually get to appreciate lions, not from the negative side of lions coming and killing their livestock, but actually just seeing this magnificent animal. And usually it's just amazing, you know. And to tell you how this kids camp is very, very amazing, this guy, his name is Likasian. Likasian was one of the kids who first came to the first kids camp we ever had. And since he liked kids camp so much, or since he had this passion and interest about lions, guess what he did? Likasian had to change his name 3 times so that he could come for the other kids camp. So he had to go, the first time was called like a different thing, changed his name, came back, changed his name like the second time, so that he could actually get like more than one chance in coming to this kids camp. And so we noticed that, and we knew, and we just let, okay, this boy has got passion. Let's just do whatever I can do to actually nurture him and encourage him to kids camp. And so what we did a few years back, we had our 10th year anniversary, and we invited him. And Likasen, this boy who was never gone to school, gave like this amazing, beautiful speech in front of like about 400 guests, guests from the government, guests from the community, guests from everywhere, and gave this powerful, amazing speech. And we are like, wow, this guy is actually very, very passionate about Lion Kids Company. And guess what? When he turned to be a warrior, which was like 2 years ago, we actually he joined Warrior Watch program, and right now, Ilkasian is the head of the warriors we have in our Lions. You know? And it's just amazing. He's such an amazing guy doing such amazing work in protecting the lions. You know? There are like some other new challenges that are coming up recently. And remember, again, this is a landscape that is shared by livestock. They share the water, they share the thing. They share the water and the grass and everything, both livestock and wildlife. And this brings in like challenges. When there's that interface, when there's like that mix of livestock and, excuse me, like that mix of livestock and wildlife within the same area, there are bound to be some challenges coming in. And one of those challenges has been diseases. You know, diseases like rabbit and canine distemper. Rabbit is a viral disease, and the only way of actually doing, preventing this is going out and vaccinating the animal. You can either vaccinate the lions, but unfortunately, lions are in the wild and you can't vaccinate them. So alternatively, what you can do is go and vaccinate the dogs, because rabies is a disease that both affects the wildlife and the domestic animals. So what we started to do, we started like a new program called Kura's Pride. And what this program does is go out and vaccinate dogs. And by vaccinating dogs, we are reducing rabies in domestic animals so that they don't spread to wildlife like lions, to wild animals like lions and leopards. And so this program is named Kura's Pride. Kura is our dog camp, and it's been with us for more than 10 years. It's named Kura, and Kura in Kiswahili means vote, because it was a rescue dog. We got him, he came to our camp one time during elections, and so we named it Kura. So this program is named after Kura. And here we have Jessica, who is a vet, and now he has joined us, and what he does is go from one home to the other home, around and vaccinating dogs to reduce rabies in domestic animals, so that we reduce rabies from getting to lions. And this is a picture that was not this picture was not taken in Samburu, but it was taken somewhere south of Kenya. And this is what rabies can do. Picture showing this is like a very rare picture. A dog threatening a lion. And what happened is that this dog had rabies, and it ended up biting the dog and transmitting the rabies to them. Vet said to come, but it was like a little bit late. And that is the reason why, by vaccinating domestic dogs, by reducing rabies in domestic dogs, we're actually saving the lions. Right? And this is what happens when diseases with this diseases that can spread from domestic dogs to wild animals. These are wild dog, a very very rare dog. Their numbers are very very small. And what happened here was, sometime about 3 years ago, there was an outbreak of this disease called canine distemper virus, and so it killed so many dogs. And that was the wake-up call that we needed to do something about the diseases. And that was the time when we started the Chorus Pride to actually do something about diseases in both domestic and wild carnivores. And then again, the Chorus Pride, it does not only do vaccinations, but also teach people about taking care of dogs, like giving them enough water and also giving them enough food. Because people here, the pastoralists, they value their dogs so much, because they use dogs during herding. They use dogs to help them take care or look after their livestock. So one of the things the Chorus Pride do as a program is actually teach and talk with the people to take better care of their dogs. Okay. The also thing that this program does is go out when a lion or a hyena comes and like bite or attacks your livestock. Vet, and Jessica, her name is Jessica, comes out with the rest of the team and try to treat that animal. Okay, I think time is running out, and so what I'll do is just tell you guys like a quick story about Naramat. Remember, like I told you, like we know each and every single lion within our landscape, and this was a very famous lion within the community. This was a lion that at first came from protected areas, but later on came and became resident in a communal land. And the reason it became a resident within the community was because what we do, was because of our Mama Simba work, it was because of Warrior Watch work, it was because of the Lions Kids camp we do. People started like more and more liking lions within the community. And right now, people like knew this lion called Naramat from all over, like asking about her every single time, how's Naramat doing, how's Naramat doing. But unfortunately, he passed away last year, not from the people. The good thing is not from humans being, but she was attacked by another male lion that killed her. But fortunate enough, he had some other babies, Naramated babies, and now our babies have babies. And now, right now, these are Naramat's grand cubs. And this is something when we see, feel so good when we see such thing happens in a community. This is a community when this program Ewaso Lions started, there were no much lions within there were not much lions within the community land. Lions will come from protected areas, come to community, and they will either get shot or killed. Basically, they get to community, they will actually disappear. But right now, based because of what we are doing, they're actually lions living with people, lions living within the same landscape, whether people, livestock, all within the same landscape. And this is something that when we see or like hear about, gives us just so much pleasure, give me so much joy and pleasure to like what I'm doing more and more and more. And just to get show you, this is our team. This whole program started with 4 people, and right now there's about 65 of us doing every single thing we can do from every single corner of this landscape, including Nairobi, to actually protect the lions. And with that, I say thank you all. Joe,
All
back to you.
right. Hey, Toby, thank you so much for that great presentation. That was jam-packed with so many amazing projects that you and the whole team are working on. So thank you for taking us into all of those important projects and showing everybody, that everybody can play a role, from the kids, everybody in the community is important.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Toby, let's get some Q&A going. We'll start visiting our classrooms. I do want to tell the classrooms that I made a Kahoot quiz, but I'm going to send you the link to it so that after the lesson today, if you want to go to the Kahoot quiz and compete with your classroom, you can find the quiz there. I will send you a link after this event. But let's get going. Let's go to Illinois. We have Ms. Michael's crew hanging out with us. How are we doing today, Illinois?
Yeah. Where? Your question.
All right. Come on down.
Okay, we've got, let's see, we've got, sure, Daniel, come on up.
Dang it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
here you go, Charlie.
you showed us a picture of a lion, and I saw this like towel on its head, and I was wondering what that was.
That
It was when
that
you
is
were coloring it. It was when you were
why were you covering it? Okay. Lion is a wild animal, right? It's still like out in the wild, right? And so when you are putting on the collar, what you need to do is what do you call it? Not euthanize it. Like give him, like, see, like when you go to the hospital when you are sick and you need to be big operation needs to be done on you. What do the doctors do? They give you some drug and so that you can go to sleep, right? That's the same thing we do with the lions when putting on these collars. And since these drugs actually make you sleepy or like feel like very, very weak and you cannot do something, what happens sometimes, you can still see things. And so we put the towel on so that the lions during like when we're putting on these collars, it doesn't see people because we don't want to scare it. So this is just to protect the lion so that when it wakes up, it doesn't have like this bad dream where like so many people like around it and something like that. And that's why we put the towel. So towel is to prevent the lion from seeing us when we're like putting the collar around, because that can be cannot be very pleasant to the lion.
All right, we'll try and come back your way for another one. Let's go to Viola Desmond Public School. I think I see someone standing right up at the camera for us. There we go.
Hello.
Okay. What's the difference between the mama Simba and the warrior watch? Do they do the same things, like take care of the lion, or do they do different things?
Joe, I can.
Yeah, so she's wondering about the mama Simba and the warrior watch. Do they do some of the same things, or is everything different that they do?
A little bit. They're different. They're like a little bit different. So the warriors, basically they actively wake up in the morning, go track the lions, find where the lions are, okay, and then go back and tell the people, the others, the boys and and the mama sometimes looking after the livestock. The women, the ladies, on the other hand, during their daily activities, maybe going to the river to bring water or going out to bring firewood, because most of them still use firewood. And so when they're doing that and they come across either lion tracks or they hear about stories where lions have done something, then they go and report to the warriors. The women also, remember, like the two things they do during drought, they coordinate with everyone else to go and dig water for the lions and other wildlife. You know? So they're different here.
Great question.
Right.
Okay, 5th graders with Miss Robinson. You're on deck. Who's got a question for us?
How many people die of lion attacks, and have you seen a change since this program?
Wild attacks from lions? Can I tell you something? Lions or any other wildlife, they rarely attack people. You know, they are also afraid of people, and so most of the times they will try as much as possible to not attack people. The only time they'll attack someone is if they feel they are threatened, if they feel that that person is like threatening to them. And an example will be like, let's say it's during the day, and then like you sneak upon like a lion, or like sneak upon an elephant. That's when they can actually attack you. The other thing that most of the time they happen to attack people, especially elephants, for example, is when they feel that you are a threat to their babies. So let's say, for example, you are going through a bush, either in a car or like on foot, and then you happen to be like right here, but the baby elephant is here and their mother is here. Their mother will see you as if you are a threat to the baby, so they'll actually attack you. But it's very, very rare for lions and any other wildlife to attack people, especially if they know where you are. And that's why it's advisable whenever you go hiking where animals are, it's really advisable to go to people so that you can keep on talking and making sound so that they can hear you and then walk away. Because if they know you're there, they'll definitely walk away. But in our area, very, very few people there has been, but very, very people like of attacks.
All right. Miss Hearn's crew, we are ready for you if you've got a question on deck. Hey, everyone. Good to see you.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, can you grab the mute for me? We can't hear you.
There you go.
Did you find a solution for lion food?
Yes, and we are still working on it. You remember we talked about Mama Simba, the mamas, the ladies working on bringing grass back to this area by digging those semicircular things. That is one of the solutions in finding lion food. And so if you do that, grass grow. When grass grow, herbivores like impalas and dik-diks will find food to eat. When they eat, they become so many, and then lions go and eat the impalas. So that's the solution we're working. It's not there yet, but that is one of the things that we continue to work on.
All right, great question. And you know, it's interesting. Lions are such a great species because they're an umbrella species. If we can protect the lions and the space they need, it's going to protect a whole bunch more species
That's
out
very
as
true.
well. So Courtright Hills, grade 7s. How are we doing today?
Good. How are you guys? I just have a question. For how can you become a mama Simba, and what do you get in return for becoming a mama Simba?
How do you become a Mama Simba, and what do you get in return for Mama Simba? Mama Simba was a program that was started by these women, and right now there are about 18 of them, but it started with 3. And how it's working right now, we have like a number of community conservancies where we are. It started with actually 2 ladies, then over time, it's the same ladies, Munteli, organizing this. Every single location, at least you go and get like 2 mamas from one location, 2 mamas from a different location, 2 mamas from a different location, so that they can spread their work. And so there are more volunteers. Most of the women are more volunteers. And what we do as Ewaso Lions is try to give them something like a salary at the end of it.
All right. Very cool. So taste, it's important to have them from the different communities. And then I think you said a salary as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Good stuff. Okay. Well, I know some classrooms might have to go because I know there's recesses and things like that. So if you do need to duck off, feel free. If you have time to stick with us for another couple minutes, pop your hand up if you have another question, and I'll come back and we'll ask a couple more questions with Toby, and then we'll wrap up for today. I think Courtright Hill says they have another question, so I'm going to pop them back in here.
I had a question. So, since you guys help with lions, what's like the most dangerous animal you guys worked with in the wild?
I'll tell you the most dangerous animal in Kenya, but unfortunately, not so many of them where we work. The most dangerous animal anywhere in the world is buffalo. And you know what makes it the most dangerous? Buffalo, especially lone buffaloes, buffaloes that are alone, are the most dangerous. Because what they'll do is like they will see you, and instead of either walking away, they'll try and hide behind the bushes and then wait for you to get near before they attack you. So in terms of the numbers of incidences that have involved buffaloes are the most dangerous animals.
All right. Thanks for that question. I would definitely not want to be in front of a stampeding buffalo. That would not.
You don't want to do that. Oh, but one thing is, a group of buffaloes is not dangerous. You can walk into the middle of a group. There can be like 100 buffaloes.
Yeah.
Just you can actually walk right through them.
Okay.
But when it is one, that is when it's like very, very dangerous.
All right. Viola Desmond Public School. Looks like we got a question.
Is there more than one species of lion?
Oh, is there more than one species of lion, Toby, or is there?
In Kenya, there's only one species of lions. We call it the African lion. But they're like other species. I know there's another species of lion. They're like a little bit different. The Asian lions.
Yeah.
They're a little bit different, but they're like the same species. That's the other one that I know of.
Yeah, there's a small number that still live in India.
Yes. But in Kenya, where we work, there's only one species of lions we know that we work with.
All right, great question. Okay, Miss Hearn's crew, and then we'll visit Miss Robinson, and then we'll wrap up for today.
All right. And
what are the predators for the lions?
That's a very good question. There are no predators for lions. Like there's no particular animals that go after the lions for food. But in essence, what I can say is that humans, and humans in the sense that what we do sometimes is not very, very good for the lions. You know, for example, we talked about people going after the lions when the lions in their livestock. They don't go as to predate on it, but they go and sometimes they end up like killing the lions. So to answer your question, no predator for lions, but humans sometimes can be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, great question. And then Miss Robinson's crew will take a question.
How long do Warrior Watch train for?
Oh, great question. How long do they train for the Warrior Watch?
Throughout their life.
They never stop learning.
They never stop learning. And you remember, like we talked about Lion Kids Camp. With the Lion Kids Camp, we try to target two groups. Kids that are going to school and the kids that are not going to school. So within this community, it's a pastoralist community. It's a community where people depend on their livestock. And so most of the times what happens for like 2-3 years, you start going out with the livestock. And when you go out with the livestock, you are actually within the bush, right? Actually out in the wild. You are actually out in the wild where lions are, where all the other wild animals are. And so the learning starts from there. And that's why the warriors or people who work of every single person over here are very, very knowledgeable when it comes to tracking lions. And this is something, so long as like we're in this landscape, you keep on learning and you keep on training. So we don't train them, they like already know more than most of the people know about lions and tracking lions.
All right. Well, Toby, that was such a great event today. It was such a pleasure to have you joining us to share all the incredible work yourself and the whole team is doing at Ewaso Lions. Thank you so much for being with us today.
It's my pleasure to be here. It's my pleasure to meet you all. It's my pleasure to talk to you guys all about what you do up here about lions. And I just hope that you guys are motivated enough to keep on talking about lions. And then at some point, maybe God willing, you guys will have a chance to come join us. Then we can show you guys lions.
Yeah.
Even if it's years and years later.
Absolutely. And that's the best thing that the kids can do. The easiest thing is tell people what they learned about lions today. Tell them how they're in trouble. Tell them what they've learned. That's the easiest thing everybody can go and do is tell somebody today what they've learned.
Right.
All right. Well, boys and girls, a huge shout out to you. Thank you for the great questions. I'm going to email the link to the Kahoot quiz to your teachers, so you can do that later today if you want. But let's bring you in, the groups who are still with us. If you want to get nice and loud, a big goodbye and thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, and we're going to sign off for today.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Everyone.